Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, students. How are you today? Okay, I hope you all are healthy and keep spirits. And for those who are sick, I hope they will be given a speedy recovery. Okay, first of all, I will introduce myself. My name is Herlina Indri Yulinar, and you can call me Miss Herlina. You can call me what? Okay, that's right. I'm a student at one of the universities in Jakarta, namely is Indraprastha University, or commonly called is Unindra. Do you know Unindra? Okay, good. This time, I was given the opportunity to teach class 8B, and I hope you can accept my presence well so that we can study cheerfully and happily so that the material can be understood easily. Okay? Okay. Okay, class. At this meeting, I will provide material about narrative text, which is one part of reading skills material. Have any of you heard of narrative text? Raise your hand. Okay, you, what is narrative text? Okay, good job. Well, then I will explain first the notion of narrative text. Before I explain about narrative text, you can open the English book on page 62. Yup, that's right, or you can see my PowerPoint. Okay, there is an explanation of the material that we will discuss today. Okay, let's start this lesson by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is narrative text? Has anyone studied before? Yes, you. What's the answer? Good job. Narrative text is a genre or type of English that tells a fictional or imaginary story and is made solely to entertain the reader. The forms of narrative text that are commonly found in everyday life can be in the form of fairy tales, folklore, legends, and fictional stories, whose events are told sequentially starting from the introduction to the climax. In narrative text, events are told sequentially starting from the introduction to the climax and finally to the conclusion or completion stage. Jadi, secara umum, pengertian naratif teks adalah cerita fiksi atau khayalan atau cerita karangan yang dibuat semata-mata untuk kepentingan hiburan bagi pembacanya. So far, have you understood the meaning of narrative text? Okay. Then, what are the types of narrative text? Who can answer? Raise your hand. Yep, that's right, Tika. There are fable, myth, legend, folktale, fairy tale, romance, etc. First, I will explain about fable atau di dalam bahasa Indonesianya biasa kita sebut dengan fable. Fable is a story about animals. For example, the ugly duckling, the country of the mice, a bear and rabbit, the cat and the rat, the greedy monkey, a fox and a little bird, the mouse deer and crocodile, and etc. Jadi, cerita fabel ini menceritakan kisah-kisah tentang binatang. Seperti contohnya tadi ya. Dan next, myth. Atau dalam bahasa Indonesianya biasa kita sebut dengan mitos. Myth is developed in society and is generally considered a factual story or actually happened. For example, Aji Saka and Dewata Cengkar. Next yaitu legend or legenda. Legend is a story that tells about the origin of place. The legend of Surabaya, the legend of Prambanan Temple, or story of Lake Toba. And next, folklore atau cerita rakyat. Folklore is a story passed down from generation to generation to become part of the community tradition. For example is Malin Kundang. Who's know the story of Malin Kundang? Raise your hand. Yep, that's right. And next, fairy tales atau cerita dongeng. Fairy tales are folk tales or children's stories that have magic in the stories told by their authors. For example, Timun Mas, Tinkerbell, and Thumbelina. Okay, can you repeat what are the types of narrative text? Fable, myth, legend, folktale, fairy tale, romance, and etc. Good job! Okay, I hope you have understood what the meaning and the types of narrative text are. Okay, next, how generic the structure of narrative text. Okay, next, how generic structure of narrative text. Like other text genres in English, narrative text has a generic structure or grammatical structure. The generic structure of narrative text or the grammatical structure of narrative text has the three arrangements. Has anyone know what it is? Yes, you, Jody. Orientation, complication, and resolution. Yes, good job. First, orientation atau biasa disebut dengan pendahuluan. The orientation or introduction section of the narrative text contains an introduction to the story characters, the background of the time and place of the story. Briefly, the orientation section contains a general narrative of what, who, when, and where the story takes place and is told. Jadi pada bagian orientation ini memuat penceritaan teks secara umum terkait apa, siapa, kapan, dan di mana cerita tersebut terjadi dan diceritakan. Seperti itu ya murid-murid. Oke, next, complication atau konflik cerita. In narrative text, the complication section contains the conflicts experienced by the main character of the event told in the stage of his life. This section also mentions how the main character resolves the conflict he experiences. So, pada bagian ini memuat konflik-konflik yang dialami oleh tokoh utama peristiwa yang diceritakan dalam tahapan kehidupannya. Dan disebutkan pula bagaimana sang tokoh utama menyelesaikan konflik-konflik yang dialaminya. Oke, next is resolution atau biasa kita sebut dengan akhir cerita. The resolution section or the end of the story in narrative text contains the end of the story being told. In this section, all the problems and conflicts that occur in the story must be resolved by the main character. In addition, in the resolution section, there are often moral message or moral values which can also be in form of advice that can be taken from the entire storyline. The moral value contained in the resolution section of the narrative text is called coda. Do you know coda? Ya, jadi ini merupakan akhir cerita dari naratif teks yang dimana semua konflik yang ada dalam cerita sudah terselesaikan. Dan pada bagian ini juga terdapat pesan moral yang dapat diambil oleh para pembaca dan ini termasuk ke dalam bagian resolution yang disebut dengan coda. Okay, do you understand class? Okay, let's focus on class again. And next is grammar in narrative text. The sentences used in narrative text usually use the form of sentences with past verbs. The use of the past tense or is due to the fact that the story of our narrative text that is told is a fictional story and usually takes years in previous settings. While the tenses in narrative text can use past perfect, past continuous, past perfect continuous, and can also be in the form of past future perfect continuous. Okay, the whole rule of tenses does not have to be a reference. Why? Because tenses revert to the conditions and situation of sentences in narrative text. So, what is past perfect, past continuous, and past future perfect continuous? First, past perfect tense. Past perfect tense can be used to express an action that has occurred and has been completed at the end of the time frame. The completed action is then followed by another action. The hallmark of the past perfect tense is the use of an auxiliary verb form in the form of has, which is followed by a third form of verb or past participle. The use of auxiliary verbs is the same for singular and plural subject. Next, past continuous tense. Past continuous tense is a form of tense to describe events that have occurred in the past and are still ongoing today. In sentences in the form of the past continuous tense, there is the use of auxiliary verbs, namely was and were, which is then followed by the present participle in the form of verb plus ing. Okay, next is past perfect continuous. The past perfect continuous tense is used to tell an event or action that started in the past, happened in the past, and also finished in a period of time in the past. The past perfect continuous tense is formed with auxiliary verbs had and been and present participle. Next is past future perfect continuous. Past future perfect continuous tense is a form of sentence structure to express events that will have been and are still happening in the past, plus have nothing to do with the present. In the past future perfect continuous tense, all subjects use the word have as an auxiliary verb. Past future perfect continuous tense usually uses the adverb of time by the end of this day, by the end of this month, by the end of this year, by next month, by the next year, and etc. Next is what are the characteristics of narrative text? Can you answer? Raise your hand. Okay. In general, narrative text has a characteristics that distinguish it from other text genres in English. The characteristics of narrative text in English include the following. First, narrative text uses action verbs in the form of past tense. For example, wandered, haunted, burned, and etc. 2. Narrative text uses certain nouns as pronouns for people, animals, and things in the whole story. For example, king, queen, boy, and giant. And 3. Narrative text uses an adjective that forms a single noun phrase. For example, the Red Riding Hood, the passionate, and etc. And 4. Narrative text uses time connects and junction to sort events in the story. For example, what? Before, after, then, next, immediately. Good job. And 5. Narrative text uses adverb and adverbial phrase to show the location of the incident or events being told. For example, what? On the water, good job. On the mountain, good job. And once again, on the jungle, good job. Okay, I hope you all understand what I explained about narrative text today. Okay, next I will read an example of a narrative text, and after that I will give you practice questions which we will discuss together, okay? Okay. And now I will read the example of narrative text. Wait a minute. Okay, now I will read the one of example of narrative text and story of a lion and the mouse. A lion was once living in the jungle when a mouse started running up and down his body just for fun. This disturbed the lion's sleep, and he woke up quite angry. He was about to eat the mouse when the mouse desperately requested the lion to set him free. "I promise you, I will be of great people to you someday if you save me." The lion laughed at the mouse's confidence and let him go. One day, a few hunters came into the forest and took the lion with them. They tied him up against a tree. The lion was struggling to get out and started to whimper. Soon, the mouse walked past and noticed the lion in trouble. Quickly, he ran and gnawed on the ropes to set the lion free. Both of them sped off into the jungle. Okay, class, attention please. Okay, so far have you understood what narrative text it is? And what the types, what the grammatical, and what are the characteristics of narrative text? Okay, good job. Have you any question? Okay. Next, you guys do the following task, and after that, we will discuss it together, okay? Okay. I will give you 30 minutes to do the exercise. Let's start it. Okay, class, have you finished the exercise? Good job. Now we will discuss together, okay? Okay, come on. I will read the story of this exercise, okay? Long ago, when the good and the goodness used to mingle in the affairs of mortals, there was a small kingdom on the slope of Mount Wayang in West Java. The king, named Sang Prabu, was a wise man. He had an only daughter called Princess Teja Nirmala, who was famous for her beauty, but she was not married. One day, Sang Prabu made up his mind to settle the matter by a show of strength. After that, Prince of Blambangan, named is Raden Bagawan, had won the competition. Unfortunately, the weak fairy Princess Segara fell in love with Raden Begawan and used magic power to render him unconscious, and he forgot his wedding. When Sang Prabu was searching, Raden Begawan saw him and soon realized that he had been enchanted by the wicked fairy. The fairy could not accept this, so she killed Raden Begawan. When Princess Teja Nirmala heard this, she was very sad. So a nice fairy took her to the kayangan. Okay. 1. Which one of the following statements is false about Sang Prabu? A. Sang Prabu was a father of his only daughter. B. Sang Prabu was a king of a kingdom in West Java. C. Sang Prabu was taken to Kayangan by a wicked fairy. D. Sang Prabu was a wise man. Or C. Sang Prabu didn't have a son. What the answer? A, B, C, D, or E? C. Okay, good job. Next, number 2. Why the wicked fairy did use her magic to make Raden Begawan unconscious? A. She didn't like Raden Begawan. B. She didn't want Raden Prabu marry the princess. C. She wanted Teja Nirmala to forget about her wedding. D. She didn't want the princess of Blambangan marry the princess. Wait. D. She didn't want the prince of Blambangan marry the princess. Or E. She didn't want the prince of Blambangan feels love with her. What the answer? A, B, C, D, or E? Okay, D. Good job. She didn't want the prince of Blambangan marry the princess. Okay, next, number 3. What do you think will happen if gods or goddesses cannot mingle in the affairs of people in the earth at the time? A. Princess Segara will have married with Raden Begawan. B. Sang Prabu will not hold strength competition. C. Raden Begawan will not die. D. Teja Nirmala will stay in the Kayangan. Or E. Wicked fairy will not take Raden Begawan's life. What the answer? A, B, C, D, or E? Good job. E. Wicked fairy will not take Raden Begawan's life. Okay, next, number 4. So a nice fairy took her to the Kayangan. In paragraph 2. The word heard in the sentence refers to A. The wicked fairy. B. The nice fairy. C. Princess Nirmala. D. Prince Teja. Or E. The Prince of Blambangan. What the answer is? A, B, C, D, or E? Okay, good job. C. Princess Nirmala. And next, the last is number 5. The similarity between fairy and human according to the next. A. The place they live. B. The jealousy that they possess. C. The way they don't feel love. D. The strength they have. Or E. Their life that is immortal. What the answer is? A, B, C, D, or E? Good job. B. The jealousy that they possess. Okay. Wow. You are very, very, very smart. Good job, class 8B. Okay, next. Have you understand about this meeting today? Good job. Okay, class. Enough of the material narrative text this time. Today's lesson is over. Let's say Hamdalah, Alhamdulillah. Yep. I hope this material can help your learning and I hope you can understand the material that I have conveyed. See you at the next meeting and have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.